This is not a game, don't take me lightly. Brain cell from insane, bring the pain, I am nothing nice be. The last thing you see when you falling asleep, shutting down your whole city. Now who messing with me? Nobody. So if it's on, it's on. So if it's on, it's on. So if it's on, it's on. Might see me banging on my chest like I'm King Kong.
My opinion on the Garena teams, so Mineski, Ascension and Gigabyte, is I think Gigabyte is clearly the best team from Garena. Like, I think they are one of the best teams at this tournament. I think Ascension and Mineski are a lot weaker compared to more of the second and third place team.
I think GPL and OPL regions have different playstyle as seen earlier, because when we played against them, Sin Gaming, we tried to fight them with kills and not our objectives, and I think that was mostly our fault. But I think when we reviewed the game after our loss, I think we can beat them if we just focus more on the objectives and not just on the kills.
I think the GPL's strongest point is that they're constantly aggressive and constantly looking for plays, but we can turn this as a strength, because while they're going for kills, we can play to objectives and play the map. Against our match against Gigabyte Marines, we didn't do that, so moving into the next day, we're going to play to these objectives and hopefully punish them for their poor play style.
Trong trận đấu đầu tiên với Daywork, mình và Norway đã cho cặp bot không có lối về. Mình tin nếu mà gặp lại họ thì bọn mình cũng sẽ lặp lại với họ điều tương tự như vậy.
We watched VODs from other teams, and we didn't really think that any of them were like that much better than us. The only team that was a bit of a question mark was the Gigabyte Marines. However, we saw them lose to Rampage already, so I feel like, me personally, I think we can take the whole thing if we play our A game, and I think that's sort of the same mentality across the board for Oceanic teams. So a lot of us have high expectations coming into the semi-finals and grand finals.
เรายังหาแผนที่ใช่สำหรับทีมไม่เจอแล้วนี่เป็นสนามแรกของผมที่เจอต่างประเทศทำให้ผมรู้สึกเล่นได้ไม่เต็มที่ก็ผมก็จะกลับไปดูรีเพย์แล้วก็ดูว่าผิดพลาดตรงไหนอะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับ
Direwolves are definitely confident moving into the last day, or the last few days of Rift Rivals. I definitely think we can beat any team. We can beat Gigabyte Marines. We can beat anyone. If Sin and Legacy can't do it, we'll finish the job and we'll get Oceania's first international win.
I think if our team and Ascension Gaming can step up and improve our play, then we can probably win this tournament.
In a best of one, anything can happen. So I'm just really excited. I'm not looking past Mineski, because obviously Mineski is still a good team. I just want to take it step by step.
ป่าของ OPL ไม่น่ามีปัญหาอะไรมากครับผมพยายามทำให้เต็มที่ครับแล้วก็จะทำให้ GPL กลับมาได้แชมป์ครับ
I do think we if we had to verse the third and second seed teams, we would beat them pretty easily. The Gigabyte Marines, it seems like they have a lot of experience. They have good strategies, and we would be able to create a strategy to verse them and a draft to play into them.
Sau thất bại chiều nay, tinh thần của mình và cao đội có một chút chìm xuống vì đã chủ quan và chứ không có một sự chuẩn bị kỹ càng. Hy vọng là ngày mai mình và Gigabyte Marines có thể thay đổi được điều đó và cùng GPL giành được chức vô địch.
A lot of people, I think, are scared of Levi when they verse him, or scared of Gigabyte Marines. But I can tell you, like, those teams, they love to fight. And if I see Levi in the river, I'm just going to jump on him and I'm going to try and fight him. But in saying that, like, they can definitely win in the best of one. They have a very aggressive playstyle. They just see a person and they want to fight. That's all they want to do. They see one person on the map and they just want to go, 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 go. But I think we can definitely beat the GPL team.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Quite some heavy words, but still proving very effective and true for the Oceanic League right now. But of course, before anything else, ladies and gents, welcome back to the 2017 Rift Rivals semifinals. Of course, this is going to be between the GPL and the OPL. Before anything else, we're going to be introducing ourselves. Casters at your service, Arctic, and of course with me is the Mad Vulcan.
So hello everyone, and we hope you are enjoying the Rift Rivals semifinals of the King of the Hill format. But as the interview said, I have to agree with the OPL region that Marines are the lord and savior of the GPL, and for them to actually win, guarantee the first victory for the GPL region is something. So I hope for the succeeding games, we'll see how it's going to turn out into the drafting phase.
There you go. So into the drafting phase we go. It's once again going to be the first seed of the GPL, the Gigabyte Marines, versus the second seed of the OPL Legacy Gaming. There we go. Bans being thrown back and forth. Man, when are we ever going to be seeing the Galio and Zach being open? Probably never.
Never in this Rift Rivals. So
it would be probably the most careless mistake to do so. But yeah, aside from the Galio and the Zach, let's go ahead and check out the champions that aren't on the 100% ban rate. Karma and the Cassiopeia going to be taken away from Legacy Esports, while the Thresh and the Gragas from Saya and Levi's. Well, we have seen, Thresh definitely something that they want to take into consideration, not give to Saya at all. Looks like they'll be sticking to what they know, though, the Gigabyte Marines, as they log into Tom Kench for first pick.
First pick for Saya, actually, he did perform so well with that Tom Kench in a way that the saves he did for his teammates were such a game-changing decision in a way that they opened up for the Baron, the Drakes, and the Pushing. So, getting a top cage for the first pick, high priority, is understandable.
There we go. This is what I'm talking about right here. The Nunu that has been constantly banned from Mineski time and time during Rift Rivals is going to manifest into Legacy Esports picking it for themselves. So, I'm interested in seeing how this will actually play out. If anything, the Nunu might actually, like at hindsight as to what Gigabyte Marines does thus far, actually a pretty good champion against the Tom Kench. If you're going to think about it, Nunu going to give a hard time for Tom Kench to even escape once he devours a champion. If anything, might even spell death if ever he devours is AD carry and then releases it at a time wherein the absolute zero is charged to its full throttle. That would be very scary.
As for Carbon on that Nunu, so we will be seeing Legacy Esports going for more of a objective-based playstyle, knowing that a Nunu's consumed deals 1000 true damage at early levels is very overpowered. So when it comes to contesting objectives, leave it to Legacy Esports to have more control, especially Carbon, who likes to play it very team-centric.
There you go. Exactly, team-centric indeed. Looks like the Caitlyn and the Rek'Sai going to be locked in so soon. Levy on this Rek'Sai, that is something I'm really looking forward to seeing. Again, if there's one common factor that we've been seeing as far as the respect level of the OPL region onto GPL, it's been constantly Gigabyte Marines clearly the better performer in comparison to the other two. Not to mention the fact that Levy clearly the standout for the team. So we'll just have
especially that game with the Elise.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Very surprising, very strong for the Marines to pick up that Elise. But right now, on to the second Manic phase.
If anything, I remember Levy actually going 6-0 on that Elise during that previous game. So we might even see even bigger things now that he's playing a much... I find Rek'Sai, very, very efficient, quite the playmaker in a way. Whereas Elise, cocoon in. But Rek'Sai, there's definitely a lot more options for creativity that you can go for because of the knockup, because of the burrow mechanic that she has right there. Queen of the Cersei indeed. But looking at the bans coming in from the second rotation here, it's actually some interesting diversity here. So the Syndra and the Renekton going to be banned out from Gigabyte Marines, while the Jarvan the Fourth as well as the Kled going to be banned away from Archie respectively. So very heavy, from Tally here for the top lane. So, but wow, very interesting go-to pick here. The Orianna, as usual, very highly picked champion when you're on the red side to prevail. Yeah.
So let's see what will the Marines pick up for the mid lane, and it will be hover on the Victor, switching towards the Cannon. Let's see, mid laner, who will it be?
Those were some nifty.
Archie again on that Cannon though. Archie has been playing on Cannon almost all the time in this Rift Rivals.
Yeah, and the thing here is that it almost, from what I see here, I'd say that he plays an okay Kennen, because during the game against Rampage yesterday, that was a very questionable performance that he had, in my opinion. So regardless, we're actually going to be seeing a top Lucian.
Oh, a top Lucian for Legacy Esports, which is a good counter towards the Kennen top lane. But in the long run, when it comes to team clashes, they do have Carbon for the tank, but I think they need more clash-oriented champions than a Lucian. But let's see how Legacy Esports will play this out.
Yeah, I feel like with Legacy Esports' draft, they don't really have as many heavy initiate options. If anything, they really have to rely potentially on the Tempered Fate to set up members, to catch off members of Gigabyte Marines. As opposed to Gigabyte Marines, like I mentioned, they actually have a pretty good diversity across the board. Kennen and the Rek'Sai, great initiate, a good hold coming in from Optimus as well, so it's constant damage, plus the fact that you paired with a Tahm Kench for that extra protectivity. All around, very well balanced for Gigabyte Marines. Well, as opposed to Legacy Esports, I'm actually interested in seeing how they're going to playing out this competition, because, again, it's very, very interesting indeed.
Let's see, let's load onto the Rift. I mean, this is game 4, the first seed of the GPL against the second seed of OPL, Legacy Esports. This is going to be game 4, King of the Hill format. Let's see who will come out on top. This is going to be GPL's do or die match up until the first seed of OPL, because if ever they lose this game, they will not move on to the finals. So this is going to be GPL's Gigabyte Marines playing it with all they've got.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I hope GAM brought a broom, as you'd say, but you'd hope they bring out a full-powered snowplower here in order to get that reverse sweep against the OPL squad here, because clearly the Lord and Saviors, Gigabyte Marines, have a long way to go. In fact, 2 more games, in fact, including this one, if ever they want to take it to the finals to face the LJL and seek revenge against Rampage. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be heading into the Rift as we head into Game 4 for the 27 Rift Rivals semifinals. Of course, once again, you are watching the GPL, the Garena Premier League, and the Oceanic Pro League duke it out for supremacy in order to face the LJL in the finals. Of course, this is going to be between the first seed Gigabyte Marines versus the second seed of the OPL Legacy Esports. Let's go.
Let's get straight to the game. This is going to be a high-stake match again for the Marines. If they falter even once, knows that the OPL region, judging from how the third seeds, the third seed of OPL played, how they were able to manage the second and third of GPL, just goes to show the potential of the OPL region.
Man, this is quite the heavy bearing that Gigabyte Marines is carrying for their team here. But overall, I'm interested in seeing, again, this is yet another scenario wherein we've been talking about how Sin Gaming, the third seed of OPL, still, regardless of that being a win for Gigabyte Marines, really transitioning well towards the mid and late games, it's undeniable that Sin Gaming still played pretty nifty. So, going up against the second seed, this is actually a true test for Gigabyte Marines.
A ward placed there by Optimus to see if Carbon will be ganking him. So really, preemptive warding already for Optimus is showing how much of an efficient laner he is.
Oh man, it's very interesting to see. I really like the Lucian pick as far as the counter potential during the laning phase. There's still that big question mark though. This is, if I'm not mistaken, it's actually LGC that's very counterintuitive as far as how they draft. You know, really like to go for these counters, but how it manifests going into the mid and late game is something that they struggle with. So in order for this to really work out, they really need to get things going as far as the early phases of the game. So maybe this is a strategy, because as we've seen during the interview, one of the things that the Oceanic Pro League takes note of when it comes to these GPL teams is the ability for all these Southeast Asian teams to just really go ham, really go all out aggressive, even during the earlier phases of the game. So maybe they're trying to notch that out by being superior in lane phase, but oh no though.
Carbon spots Levy. Levy will wanted to fight down Carbon. Carbon does have to consume for more heal. Carbon's very low. You're seeing a Blast Cone used by him to prevent from Optimus joining him in. He does smite the blue buff. More heal for Carbon. He will be surviving.
Oh no, though. Levy might find himself in an awkward position.
Levy's very low, tunneling away from the members of Legacy Esports.
Ooh. Blue buff. Unfortunately.
Flashing from Carbon to at least take down Archie, but the blue buff goes to Carbon. Levy will be really sad. He did invest so much time with that.
I love that play coming in from Legacy Esports. Like they've been championing, and technically, if you're going to watch all of the games from Gigabyte Marines, the one true consistent player that really performs even in the earlier phases of the game is Levy. Shut him down earlier game. This is going to be the true test for Gigabyte Marines. If they can perform regardless of a heavy snowball from Levy in the earlier phases of the game, because if they can't pull that together, then I'm quite worried for our saviors of the GPL here.
Well, Archie dueling out Tally. Very gutsy of him. He's very low in health, so understandably he will be backing out. So Tally on that Lucian seems to be working so far. Let's hope that when it comes to the late game, Tally will be delivering a lot of damage.
Man, it's going to be... I'm actually interested in seeing what adjustments will Levy do as this Rek'Sai, because technically with this Nunu, there's just so much flexibility that Carbon could do with this. It's because the consumer itself, because of the sustain that a Nunu has, definitely grants him a lot more lasting power in comparison to the Levy here on this Rek'Sai because of the crazy sustain that he gets from Consume. So that being said, it's possible that he could transition this into potential ganks. And like I've been mentioning, the Nunu is technically really good in my opinion with this Tompkins on the table for GAM, because whatever protection that he delivers, one slow could actually deter this bot.
And so far for Carbon, I would say he's very proactive in the ganking wise, but when it comes to objective contests, normally we would see a Nunu already taking down the Drake at this second. So I'm actually waiting for Carbon to actually take down the Cloud Drake, which is the first Drake of this game, and then slowly transitioning that to the next Drake. But knowing how Levy passed, respect comes from Carbon, because Carbon is scared of Levy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's probably the reason why we're not seeing that early take. It's because of that respect for Levy. And Gigabyte Marines, being considering how methodical and smart they are as a team, clearly demonstrating why they're the best team in the GPL right now, it's probably Legacy Esports realizing that it's almost natural that if you're a Nunu, you go for that. You have that potential to go for that earlier dragon, and we'll just have to see it eventually manifest though. But Carbon actually near the top side.
Nearing the top side, getting the skull first. He might rotate towards the top lane, but Levy is also there. With the control spot that Levy is in the riverside, pinging for the mid lane. Levy rotating slowly towards Claire. Claire does have the flash and heal. Not much mana, so Levy will be backing off. Yeah. Oh, while Carbon is stealing away that Gromp.
This is kind of like Sim Gaming version, or yeah, version 2.0, because Carbon actually having a lot more success as far as denying Levy in comparison to Juice earlier.
Oh, Carbon taking a lot of damage from Levy, already down to 1/4 of his health. Tally's there for the respawns, but Carbon is doing a really good job disrupting the jungle of Levy.
And overall, what's really funny here is that the Tally, or rather the Lucian pick here for Tally is actually is manifesting. Overall, if you're gonna notice, whenever Carbon is in these fights with Levy in GAM's jungle, Tally responding because of the pure damage that he brings out is pretty much a threat in himself. That I'm actually starting to become a fan of the Lucian pick.
Oh boy, Levy. Oh man, this guy is always on the prowl in the river. That river is his territory and spots Carbon contesting. Oh, see, this is what I was waiting for. This early Drake that can determine the flow of fight. The clashes and objective control is all you want for OPL, because when they picked up the Nunu, they knew that they would be going this route. And for the Gigabyte Marines, they have to plan things out. The next Drake will be crucial for them, because if they ever give the Drake again towards Carbon, this is OPL riding the momentum.
Yeah, definitely. Still interesting enough. For Legacy Esports right here, with that head up on the dragon, it really doesn't I'm actually surprised, because regardless, Gigabyte Marines actually quite up on is not quite up, but still they are up around 400 to 500 onto the OPL squad here. So we'll just have to see again. This is one of my concerns about Gigabyte Marines, considering how almost equal it was during the earlier phase for GAM against the third seed for OPL. Going into the second seed right now, again, just how far can they go exactly? I mean, I'm pretty confident because they were able to take down the first seed during the group stage during day one. So still though, this is a different team, different play styles, regardless of being from the same region. So we'll just have to see.
We'll just have to see from how the Marines will be planning things out, especially Carbon, who is not retiring from his attempt to disrupt Levy in the jungle. So right now, Levy will be giving the blue buff towards Optimus, but Carbon is there. Relentless Sasquatch just going in, stealing everything you love and care for. This is going to be Carbon stealing away Christmas for the Marines.
There we go. So, I mean, it's very telling, very sound on the Rift. This is pretty much the textbook Rift Rivals game that we're seeing right here. Very, very calm, no first bloods just yet. We have seen some small skirmishes which hasn't really led to any big kills, but nonetheless, we'll just have to see. I mean, it's very, very much up to the junglers here, I believe. Whoever gets that first gank, and oh no, we actually might see a fight though.
Tally though dodging that AoE stun, but Tally is there, slowly approaching. So we see Carbon. Ooh, Levy just dodged that approach from Levy, but Claire spots out Optimus. Levy and Archie will be joining themselves in. Carbon is chasing down. Tempered Fate will burn the flashes of both the Marines, so the Rift Herald is open for the taking.
There we go. So overall, again, this is the thing here. With this Rift Herald take here from LGC, that might actually lead to very big things for them, and this is going to be tricky. Gigabyte Marines definitely, the pressure is on for them to perform for their region, because if they lose out on this, not only do they lose this game, they lose out on the chance to proceed to the finals against LGA and get vengeance onto Rampage, the first seed of Japan.
The first seed of Japan will be waiting in the throne. Who will be their challenger? Will it be the GPL region or will it be the OPL? So let's see how things will play out in this do or die match for GPL. Whereas for OPL, they do have the first seed waiting at the bench, sitting down and looking at the game for their reserve.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, Gigabyte Marines though, I gotta say, regardless of this deficiency that they have, not losing out on the Rift Herald, up on Sia, so it's definitely up to Legacy Gaming. What I'm actually interested in seeing is whether or not they could use it to an efficiency wherein they could take the lead in terms of gold, even though if it's a small lead, but still take that lead nonetheless, because it's been constantly on GAM's court right now.
Well, GAM will try their best because no mistakes must be happening for them, because this is going to be the last chance for GPL if they wish to represent and move on to the finals of the Rift Rivals.
There we go. So, nonetheless, still very much. I'm actually interested. I wonder what the Oceanic Pro League teams are wondering right now, because, again, the usual trend here, as I mentioned, the general impression of GPL teams is that
the only strong region is GAM.
Yeah, aside
oh,
from
sorry, the
that,
only strong team is GAM, because that's what I've heard, what I've heard time and time again during the interviews, that the Marines are somehow the team that we have to watch out for, whereas Mineski and Ascension, we will not have a trouble with.
No, though, Rift Herald, though, being summoned, this might actually be a potential takedown for that second turret. I like the reservation here, but GAM actually responding with their own aggression in push towards the bot side, so it's all about the objectives right now to make up for the lack of kills within the first 10 minutes.
Oh, if ever the Marines do win this match, this will be a reverse sweep, perhaps, for the Marines.
Oh, man. This is absolutely... I got it. This is interesting, though.
Oh, boy. Saya, regretting that face check, gives the first blood 12 minutes and 56 seconds into the game. Oh boy, Levy. Carbon's chasing that Tempered Fate. will not happen. Levy was burrowed. He does dodge the Tempered Fate, but Lost is there to secure the kill.
A little bit of a trivia for our international viewers.
Oh my god,
I have
as
to
soon
hold
as
that
the
though.
first one happened, everyone's just thirsty. Carbon chasing down Optimus. He does get slowed. 2 members of the Marines down for the count.
Man, Gigabyte Marines definitely have quite the deficiency right now, but still, regardless, I gotta hand it to them. Even with that 2 deaths to nothing, they're still up in terms of the CS game. But after this Dragon take, it's probably gonna be. But yeah, as I've been saying, a small little bit of trivia for our international viewers. The Saya is actually a Tagalog word, meaning almost happy, like masaya. But with what happened with Gigabyte Marines right now, I highly doubt that they're happy right now. Definitely sets them back a bit. Even with this continued 100 CS difference, definitely doesn't really translate to them like falling way behind. It's just that it's definitely room that they have to work with right now because it's still very much equal ground. And Legacy Esports definitely showing quite the fight, giving them a run for their money in a sense that we may have beaten the 3rd seed, but we're definitely going to hold our ground as the 2nd seed.
Let's hope they do, because for the regions so far, it's looking pretty strong for the OPL. A good start, 2 Drakes, 2 kills, and 1 third for them. It's pretty good so far, but it's the fact that they just secured the Cloud Drake. Every time they play a Nunu, I always see Drakes which are not going to be very impactful in this match. So 2 Drakes, Cloud Drakes, will be enough for OPL, Legacy Esports, because they will be roaming a lot, especially that Bard. Cupcake will benefit a lot from that Cloud Drake. But right now in the bot side, Tally picks off Archie with the help of Carbon.
Oh man, this is definitely not going good for the Gigabyte Marines as far as...
Oh, flashing from Levy, locks down Cupcake. Tempered Fate will not help him out. There is a shockwave from Claire just hitting onto. No way, he will be alive. So this is 1 ultimate down for Legacy Esports.
Shockwaves are definitely on point from Claire thus far. Really, the damage output is actually pretty impressive, I gotta
boy,
say.
Saya again playing a very, very dangerous game. Optimus is there with a Victor, trying to laser face them, but we see that Lost will be taking the red buff uncontested.
I love the fact that LGC, as the longer this game goes, the more clear it becomes what the thought process is with this drafting here. Not only does Nunu provide...
Oh, Saya with a package. No way. Ooh, flashes out, heals out. Saya also flashes out, but Claire with the boss will clear that wave. So Saya will be taken down.
Man, this game is going absolutely insane in favor of Legacy Esports right now. And overall, this is absolutely... Gigabyte Marines really struggling at this point. And like I've been mentioning, I wanted to tackle on why I really like the logic and the thought process of Legacy Esports' composition. One of the things that I like about this Nunu, like I mentioned earlier, is the fact that he actually counters Tom Kench in a sense that, considering how Tom Kench's primary role here for Gigabyte Marines is they're not only set up with Devour, but to also protect his teammate, it pretty much becomes flip because of the slows from Nunu. Not only that, let's say we're in a scenario where Gigabyte Marines is actually ahead. The fact is that Absolute Zero is actually a great control zone as well, wherein it zones out Gigabyte Marines that the only way technically that they could cancel it is if they could get some proper CC, probably a dive in from the Rek'Sai, but the Rek'Sai in exchange by diving in will be getting a bit of damage from Absolute Zero if ever he goes for the cancel. The stuns as well from Archie, if I'm not mistaken, the range that he needs to get into in order to stun a Nunu is pretty much within the Absolute Zero as well. So there's definitely a lot of factors here wherein Carbon's Nunu actually is pretty effective.
Well, Carbon does have the potential to zone out, as you said, but when it comes to objective control, that's his main focus, because when you are on a Nunu, to at least contest these objectives, that's going to be very huge, especially they've secured 2 Cloud Drakes. That's so much movement speed. So when it comes to roaming and objective lockdown, Legacy Esports will be the one to come out on top. When it comes to the mid lane, so I'm pretty scared for Optimus because he has yet to actually secure any good lead. So this is actually going to be a very difficult setup for Optimus to actually snowball into this game.
Definitely. And at the end of the day, I gotta hand it to Gigabyte Marines though, despite the fact that they are a little bit deterred right now in terms of the kills. Looking at the gold though, it's still pretty much even, so they're definitely doing something right. But oh, looks like LGC though on the offense once again in terms of objective takes here. Really want to try find windows of opportunity where they could just skyrocket this lead that they have right now.
Oh, it's just a matter of who is pushing what lane, which lane is more important. We're seeing a trade-off in turrets, 3 to 3 turret score, very even, very same math throughout. But it would be the Cloud Drake to actually offer more macro play from these players. Here comes the slashing Maelstrom, the knockoff from Claire. Shockwave will not do much of a threat. The Temper Fate will try to deny some aggro from the turrets. Carbon is there, Claire is pretty low on mana. Saya trying to burst down or actually slow the members of LGC, especially Claire. He is one of the game-deciding champions with that setting orb.
But man, even with all this aggression, all these proactive plays coming in from Legacy Esports, it's crazy because technically at this point, if you're going to look at the board straight up, gold, dragon takes, kills, not to mention, it's pretty much on Legacy Esports side. But then again, getting into the nitty-gritty of things, if you're going to look at the CS difference though, for No Way, for Levy, even for Optimus and Saya, all very much up on CS. So again, this is very classic GPL Gigabyte Marines, wherein sure, they might be behind in the general perspective as far as skills, but they make up for it heavily by making sure that they dominate Legacy Esports in terms of the CS.
This time it'll be a Mountain Drake. This is a Drake that the Marines cannot afford to give because this is more important than the Cloud Drake. The Baron is live with no vision in the side for the Marines. LGC will be taking this uncontested.
Definitely. And again, they've been having a ball with all these Drakes on their court thus far. And I feel like the Cloud Drake actually complements their composition here.
Especially Cupcake.
Yeah, definitely. So again, this is just Gigabyte Marines. They're not having the best time right now as far as the objective takes. But like I mentioned, they are making up for it with CS leads. But CS leads can only get you so far when, especially from what we've been seeing so far, Gigabyte Marines doesn't really have the room to make proactive plays that LGC
Oh
does.
boy, Magical Journey. Levy's there. He does get away. Members of LGC just backing off. The Baron is live, so no one wants to risk something major and lose a teammate at this point of the game.
Definitely. And looks like Archie, very reminiscent of what happened earlier, gonna be going for this split push along, but looks like the other members of Gigabyte Marines will be on the same page, transitioning to the top lane as well.
So Archie does have the Blade of Ruin King, has yet to finish up more items because he is behind in CS. Almost 40 CS behind, that is huge, especially a top player like Archie will have to come back from that, whereas Optimus, a CS lead of 20, but the 2 kills onto Claire will be more than enough to actually tip the balance to his favor.
Archie's performance thus far in the Rift Rivals has been a bit of a big question mark for me because minus the game wherein they won against the first seed of the OPL, for most of the games that he's been on Kennen, he hasn't been really performing at a stellar rate. It's mostly been
Fate.
okay.
Oh, misses. No way. Saya flashes away while Cupcake takes a lot of heat from No Way.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of damage there, but overall, with No Way on this Caitlyn, he's not quite popping off as I wish he would have, because with this range advantage, I felt like there was so much that he could work with, somewhat similar to how Sin Gaming played their own Caitlyn. So that was kind of the, oh, that's pretty big.
That's pretty gutsy. Wow. Got a Baron. On plain side, the Marines take it away from Legacy Esports where they have 3 Drakes. Normally you would say, I think this is the point in time where Legacy Esports, they're a bit too comfortable saying that, hey, we have 3 Drakes. At this point in time, I think we have a lot of control.
I agree with you. Legacy Esports, definitely, this is somewhat calm again. Again, somewhat complacent in the sense that I feel that they might have thought that because they're on the upper side of the spectrum in terms of Drakes and kills, that they might have been having the lead, but Gigabyte Marines, this is the great thing when you're kind of looking at it from a spectator standpoint. regardless of the fact that if you're in game, you'd think that you're up because of the dragons and kill advantage, but because of the CS difference overall, it doesn't really, it probably hasn't dawned on Legacy Esports that they're still very much equal in terms of the gold count. And with Gigabyte Marines now taking that Baron, this might actually be huge, especially if they could translate this into taking a lead.
They can, because this is going to be a really good starting tool for them, especially the fact that Legacy Esports, they have 2 Cloud Drix, so they will be quick to want to. They'll be the ones to really quickly respond. But here comes Carbon. Saya's there, flashing slow from Carbon. Saya is in the absolute zero zone. Takes the full blow of the absolute zero. Saya pops that thick skin, but Lost will still take him down.
Yeah, and Lost is indeed
Lost.
there you go. Exactly, but no, not exactly. He was the one that actually kind of got found in that case with that takedown onto Saya. But regardless,
Lost and found.
yeah, definitely. This does kind of set back Gigabyte Marines, though. They have the Baron in their court, so technically this was their moment of opportunity to really start making proactive plays to dominate Legacy Gaming. But so far, because of that takedown onto Saya, this actually almost deters them in a sense.
Oh boy,
Optimus,
here it comes. Optimus all alone. Carbon is there. Tempered Fate. Ooh, it connects onto Optimus. Optimus flashes away. Pops his ghost, trying to back away with a Chaos Storm. Oh, he still eats that shockwave for dinner. Claire is on a killing spree.
These are heavy missed opportunities coming in from Gigabyte Marines. Sure, they might have taken down Tally right now, but I'd say this is pretty much mission accomplished for Legacy Gaming here. They were able to deter Gigabyte Marines from taking full advantage of this Baron buff right here. And any moment, we're actually already halfway through this Baron buff's duration. So, again, it's one of those scenarios wherein very reminiscent, actually, if I'm not mistaken, of Ascension Gaming's game, wherein they were getting a lot of these Barons, but whether or not it actually translates to any full-on takedowns or leads, that's the big question mark right here. So overall, it's very still shaky for Gigabyte Marines.
Very shaky. They have yet to secure a good lead for the Baron play. They just got a 300 gold. That's it. They have to get more gold from this, because at this point, it's all about the money. You want to have all the lead you can, using the Baron, get more turrets, get more CS, more power pushing. But this is not the case for the Marines, knowing that RG is very behind. At this point, just getting the Runans now will enable him to push more efficiently, but it's a bit too late for that, because Tally at this point, Black Cleaver, Blade of the Ruined King, now building to a Hex Drinker, will really deny the damage coming from Archie.
Yeah, and these casualties that Gigabyte Marines suffered while they had this Baron was really a huge setback, and Legacy Esports overall really playing the counter game to the T right now, as to really preventing Gigabyte Marines from capitalizing on any advantage that they could have had. And as a result, this definitely gives a lot more breathing space for Legacy Esports, as they've technically had throughout this game thus far.
Oh, a lot of Kratos coming in. Archie gets ganked by Carbon. There's the slow and absolute zero. Levy, though, picks up Lost, same with the help of Optimus. In the top side, we're seeing a push. 3-man push with the Marines. LGC just chased down Archie while leaving their base undefended. This is the Marines playing the mind game.
Yeah, I feel like this is definitely a good call coming from the Gigabyte Marines, even though they did suffer casualties. With these casualties, it definitely sets LGC ahead in terms of the overall power that they could exert. So I like that Gigabyte Marines realizing that they are at a bit of a loss right now as far as going on with these full 5v5s. Hey, let's go for these mind games wherein we could try to get others as tribute, as sacrifices for us to realize.
Oh, here comes Magical Journey for the set. Cupcake does flash away, and they just walk into the gravity field of Optimus, and that is the fracture play for walking into the territory of the Marines with a double kill for No Way.
Oh no, teleport continued actually by Tally. I don't think that
boy,
was
3 members down. They're open up to push. Teleport coming in for Archie, going in for the inhibitor. This is big for the Marines, whereas LGC has yet to respond.
Huge misplay there coming in from Tally. I'm actually surprised that he continued that teleport. That wasn't even necessary. I see no opportunity whatsoever as far as him actually getting a pick-off if ever he did continue that teleport. So, again, that was a little bit of a trigger hacking move. And as a result, that monumental mistake coming in from Legacy Esports grants all the more opportunity for Gigabyte Marines. This is finally a moment where we're seeing this gold lead leading towards nearing a 4,000 to 5,000 play mark.
And now with 3 members down, they are now back up for the fight. But that's so late. Look at them. They took down the inhibitor turrets and inhibitor. And that mid-lane inhibitor is so low.
Oh man, at this point, Gigabyte Marines really pushing to go for the reverse sweep right now. That Legacy Esports really, it's such a shame because they have so many. Oh, it's gotta be a fight now.
Absolute in Archie for the slashing maelstrom. Levy gets the kill on the cupcake. Lost without protection. Levy goes in. Norway gets the triple. Norway gets the crit chance, and Archie will be finishing off Tally. And Claire is out of position. Levy knocks him out. Saya is there, but let's see. Will Norway pick it up? Saya though, thick skin. Oh, with the baits, with like a shutdown. With 4 members down for LGC. Death timers are huge. This might be game for the Marines.
Holy cow, Levy really doing well with that ultimate. Almost avoids Absolute Zero coming in from Carbon right here. That indeed, this may potentially be the game. Ladies and gentlemen, looks like the dream will still be alive for the Garena Premier League. Leading with just 1 fight actually. All that they needed was that 1 fight to turn things around. Ladies and gents,
I gotta say, the dream is still alive for the reverse sweep. The Marines take it away from Legacy Esports for a 2-2.
Wow, this is it. We'll be heading into a Game 5.
This is the King of the Hill. I bet exhaustion is heading towards the Marines, but this is them carrying the last hope of GPL and the flag. Optimus, the star player of the Marines. Look at that guy.
Did you see that small smile he had before he took that turn? It's like, oh,
so sneaky, so cheeky, and so handsome.
You're like, Gigabyte Marines really showing that they could shoulder 2 teams and lead them to a big. If ever, this is the crazy part here. If GPL ultimately wins Rift Rivals, I'd give mad props, huge credits to Gigabyte Marines 100% for carrying the region. But yeah, regardless, let's go ahead and talk about what happened here. Again, I gotta hand it to Gigabyte Marines. What's so beautiful about this is that Legacy Esports, they have so many opportunities to topple over Gigabyte Marines because with the composition that they had, again, I gotta hand it to them. It was logically very effective, but because they really couldn't find those windows of opportunity that Gigabyte Marines wasn't granting them, it was that one moment towards the end where Gigabyte Marines finally finding their footing in that game, turning things around, and ultimately getting this second win.
And now, since this is the King of the Hill format, it will be the battle of the first seeds. GPL's first seed against OPL's first seed. That will be on to the next game. We have been your shoutcasters. I am Vulcan, and with me is Arctic. Will be back after a short break, moving on to the last game. Who will it be? OPL or GPL moving on to the finals? We'll see after the break.